All right, so today we're diving into something that I think a lot of our listeners are going to find really interesting.
Yeah.
Um, and that is journaling for self-improvement. And specifically, we're looking at these 50 men's journal prompts
Okay.
from this blog called Lestallion. Have you heard of this blog?
I have. Yeah. They're all about like helping guys unlock their potential through writing.
I love that. And so the idea of like prompts that are specifically designed for men, I think is super intriguing.
Yeah. It's interesting how they approach this. It's not just like write about your day kind of thing.
Right.
They're really trying to get at those areas where maybe guys typically hold back a little bit.
Yeah.
Talking about their emotions and vulnerabilities and all that stuff that, society tells us we should just keep bottled up.
Yeah, it's like they're providing like a safe space, but it's on paper
Yeah.
to kind of explore all of that stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, so Lestallion breaks these 50 prompts down into 4 different areas: personal growth, strong relationships, emotional wellness, and health and fitness.
Wow.
And then they have a whole separate section on embracing new beginnings.
Ooh. Pretty comprehensive.
It sounds pretty comprehensive, yeah.
And I think what's really smart about this is they recognize that all of these areas are actually intertwined.
Yes.
You think about it, like, you're not going to crush your fitness goals just by hitting the gym.
Right.
You need that mental toughness. You need self-belief. And, like, those are personal growth skills, too.
Totally. It's like that saying, like, strong mind, strong body.
Exactly.
So let's kind of unpack some of these prompts.
Okay.
In the personal growth section, they really push you to define your values.
Mm-hmm.
There's one prompt that asks, how do you define success in your personal life?
Oh, interesting.
Not career success, but what makes you feel accomplished, like as a person?
That's such a good question because, what society tells us, success is as often so different from what actually makes us feel fulfilled as individuals. So I think it's really valuable to cut through all the noise and get to the core of what really matters to you.
Yeah.
Another prompt in this section that I thought was really interesting was, what's one area you'd like to continue growing in?
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah, because it emphasizes that idea that, personal growth is a lifelong journey.
It's not a destination.
Right. Exactly. You don't just hit some level and you're like, okay, I'm done.
All right, I'm a fully formed person now.
Exactly. But it's easy to get complacent.
Yeah.
So I think that prompt is a good reminder to keep consciously moving forward.
Yeah, to always be kind of leveling up in some way.
Yeah.
So speaking of moving forward, let's shift to the strong relationships section.
Okay.
This one really dives into like the nitty-gritty of what makes relationships thrive.
Yeah.
Like communication, appreciation, and even like navigating those tough conversations that we all try to avoid.
Oh, for sure.
There's one prompt that stood out to me, and it was, how do you set boundaries in relationships to protect your mental health?
Oh, that's huge. I think we've all been in those situations where we felt like our boundaries were crossed,
Totally.
but we didn't necessarily speak up.
Yeah.
So I love that this prompt is making us think about, where are we not setting those clear boundaries and what is that costing us?
That's a great point. And it makes you think about, healthy relationships are built on mutual respect.
For sure.
And part of that is honoring your own needs and limits.
Yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup, right?
Exactly. And Lestallion doesn't just limit this to like romantic relationships.
Right.
They also have prompts for friendships and family dynamics too.
It makes sense because those boundaries are important across the board.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a prompt about learning from past relationships,
Okay.
which I think ties in really nicely with the personal growth themes that we were talking about.
It's about recognizing those patterns, understanding what worked and what didn't in those past relationships.
Right.
And then using those insights to build stronger, healthier connections moving forward.
It's like turning those past experiences into valuable lessons for the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so now we're getting to a section that I think is super important.
Okay.
Especially for men,
Yeah.
who might have been raised with that whole, like, boys don't cry mentality.
Right.
Emotional wellness.
Like Lestallion is saying, hey, it's not just okay to have emotions.
Right.
It's essential.
Yeah.
Like to acknowledge them, to process them.
Exactly.
And there's one prompt that just, it's so direct. It says, what is one emotion you've been struggling with recently and how do you cope with it?
Oh, wow.
It's like forcing you to just confront it.
Yeah, you can't really avoid it when it's staring you right in the face.
Right. Those feelings that you might be trying to like bury down.
Exactly. And, it's about developing that emotional literacy, being able to like identify and understand your emotions so you can actually manage them effectively.
That makes sense.
And they don't shy away from the tougher emotions either. Like, There are prompts that are specifically for dealing with anger and loneliness.
Which, let's be real, like, we all experience those
And
things
absolutely.
at some point.
Oh,
But it's what we do with them
and
that matters. And Lestallion seems to be encouraging a more, like, mindful approach. Like, there's one prompt that asks, how do you handle feelings of loneliness or isolation?
Oh, that's a good one.
So it's not just about, like, wallowing in it.
Right.
It's about thinking, okay, how do I build meaningful connections?
Yes. Exactly. And I think that's such a powerful antidote to loneliness.
Totally.
It's, recognizing that we're social creatures and we need that connection for our well-being.
Yeah, for sure. So now let's shift gears to a topic that I know a lot of our listeners are probably interested in,
Okay.
health and fitness.
Yeah.
And what I appreciate about Lestallion's approach here is that they go beyond, like, the superficial stuff.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, there's a prompt that says, define health beyond physical fitness.
I love that.
It's like it's making you think bigger picture.
Yeah.
What about your mental and emotional health, your energy levels,
Right.
just your overall sense of well-being?
It's about understanding that true health is holistic.
Yeah, it's not just about, like, six-pack abs.
Right. Exactly.
And then they also delve into the mindset piece, which, as we've discussed, is so interconnected with all those other areas.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a prompt that asks, how do you stay motivated to maintain your fitness goals?
Oh, that's a good one because, motivation isn't just about willpower.
Right.
It's about setting yourself up for success with, like, sustainable habits
Totally.
and a positive mindset.
It's like, are your strategies actually working for you
Exactly.
in the long run?
Yes.
Okay, so speaking of mindset, let's move on to that final section, embracing new beginnings.
Okay.
This one feels really relevant for anyone who's going through a transition or just looking to make a change in their life.
Yeah, I think we can all relate to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And there's this one prompt that really resonated with me. It says, how do you handle uncertainty when starting something new?
Oh, that's a big one because change can be daunting.
It can be scary.
But, it's important to remember that there's so much potential for growth and fulfillment on the other side of that discomfort.
Totally. Like, we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
That mix of nerves and excitement
Yeah, exactly.
when you're stepping into the unknown.
It's like a roller coaster of emotions.
And this section also encourages you to, like, really get clear on your goals.
Okay.
There's a prompt that asks, what is one goal you're excited to pursue in the near future?
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a great way to just, like, focus your energy
Yeah.
and start taking those first steps.
It's about setting those intentions and visualizing that success.
Totally. And Lestallion doesn't stop there.
No.
They also emphasize the importance of breaking down those big goals into smaller, actionable steps.
Okay.
There's a prompt that says, what is one small step you can take today to move closer to that goal?
Oh, I love that one.
It's such a good reminder
Yeah.
because it's easy to get overwhelmed by, like, these huge goals. But if you just take one small step every day,
Exactly.
it adds up.
It's about consistency and showing up for yourself, even when it feels hard.
Yeah. And there's even a prompt that reminds us to be patient
Oh, that's important.
and trust the process.
Especially when it comes to new beginnings.
Yes.
It's easy to want to see those results right away.
Instant gratification.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But real growth takes time
Yeah.
and effort.
I feel like with all these prompts, it's like Lestallion's giving you, like, a toolkit,
Yeah.
not to become somebody else, but just to, like, build a better version of yourself.
Exactly. And what's cool is, like, they're not saying this is the one way to do it,
Yeah.
They give you the tools, but you can decide, which ones work for you and how you want to use them.
It's like they're saying, here's a map.
Yeah.
You choose your own adventure.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up here,
Okay.
what does all this mean for you, the listener?
Right.
I think the big takeaway is that journaling,
Yeah.
even just for a few minutes a day,
Mm-hmm.
can be so powerful.
It really can. It's about creating that space to reflect, to connect with your inner world, and just to uncover insights that might surprise you.
Right. Those aha moments
Exactly.
that can lead to real change.
And there's no right or wrong way to do it.
Totally.
It's your personal journey.
Mm-hmm.
The key is to be honest with yourself on the page.
Yeah. To get all those thoughts out of your head and onto the paper.
Exactly. Give yourself permission to explore those thoughts and emotions without judgment.
Now, we've only scratched the surface here.
Of course.
The Stallions Block has tons of other resources
Yeah.
on journaling and self-improvement.
Oh, yeah. They have a lot of great stuff.
So if you're intrigued, definitely check it out.
For sure.
But before we go, we want to leave you with a question.
Okay.
something to kind of ponder, inspired by these prompts.
Okay.
What area of your life are you most excited to explore
Ooh,
through journaling?
it's a good one.
Maybe it's your career goals,
Mm-hmm.
your relationships,
Yeah.
that creative project you've been putting off.
Right.
Whatever it is, choose a prompt that speaks to you
Yeah.
and see where it leads.
You might be amazed by what you discover.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive
Yeah.
into the world of men's journaling.
It's been fun.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep diving deep.